Let me tell you something, Pack Nation. Ed Policy. The man just walked up to a microphone and said out loud what every Green Bay Packers fan has been quietly terrified about for years. And I am sitting here in my kitchen in Peshtigo at 6:30 in the morning reading this article, and I knocked my coffee right off the table. Ask Darlene. She heard the mug hit the floor from the bedroom. She did not even come check on me. She just yelled, "How bad is it this time?" That is how often this happens now. Here is what Policy said. He said, and I am not paraphrasing here, he said, "Thank goodness for the salary cap, because without the salary cap, there would be no Green Bay Packers." No, Green Bay Packers. The man said it himself. And listen, I appreciate the honesty. I genuinely do. But do you understand what that means? It means we are one collective bargaining agreement away from being at the mercy of every hedge fund jagoff, every tech billionaire knucklehead, every real estate meatball who decided buying an NFL team was more fun than buying a yacht. Because here is the thing about being a nonprofit. And I know, everybody loves this story. Community owned, no billionaire owner, run by the fans, beautiful. I love it too. My buddy Tomek, he works over at the paper mill, been a Packers fan his whole life. Tomek cried actual tears when I explained the ownership structure to him one time. Just sitting in my driveway, man started weeping, said it was the most American thing he had ever heard. I said, "Tomek, you big softy, get it together." And then I went inside and I also cried a little. It is the most American thing you have ever heard. But here is what nobody is talking about right now. Here is what everybody is glossing over. When the Dallas Cowboys owner wants to build a new practice facility, he writes a check. When the Los Angeles Rams want to upgrade their nutrition staff, hire 6 more analysts, bring in a whole sleep science department for the players, Jerry Kroenke writes a check. You know what the Packers do? The Packers hold a very organized, professionally managed bake sale. And the bake sale has $600 million in it, which sounds great until you realize any other owner in this league could sell less than 10% of their franchise, give up no controlling interest, and raise more than our entire reserve fund in one afternoon. You follow what I'm saying? We are bringing a very respectable pocket knife to a bazooka fight, brother. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Stay with me. Policy says the Packers are top three in demand across the whole league. You cannot get a ticket to Lambeau Field. You know how long the waiting list is? People are leaving season tickets to their grandchildren in their wills in this state. I am not joking. My father-in-law tried to get on the list before my daughter was born. She is 11 now. They have not called. And despite all of that, despite being top 3 in demand in the entire National Football League, we are middle of the pack in what we charge. Middle of the pack. We are essentially running a discount program for one of the most desirable sporting events in America. They raise prices this offseason, 3 to 11%, depending on your section. I do not love it. Darlene definitely does not love it, but I understand it because policy is telling us plain as day, if we do not get more aggressive on revenue, the financial gap between us and the big market billionaire teams becomes a canyon. And once you fall behind in this league, once you are scrambling to keep up, it is very hard to claw back. You know what this reminds me of? My neighbor, Gary Pletcher. Gary runs a snow removal business out of here. Good operation, honest work, been doing it for over 20 years. Everybody in the neighborhood uses him. You call Gary, Gary shows up, Gary does the job right. Never a complaint. Then about 4 or 5 years ago, one of those big corporate outfits moved into the area. Trucks with GPS, heated cabs, some kind of app where you can track your plow in real time on your phone. Gary has still got the same equipment he had in 2009. Still doing great work. Still the guy everybody trusts. But those big commercial contracts, the parking lots, the strip malls, those started going somewhere else. Not because Gary got worse, because the other guy had more resources to throw at it. That is the Packers right now, Pack Nation. That is exactly what Ed Policy is describing. We are Gary, trusted, beloved. Everybody loves us, but the league is filling up with well-capitalized competitors who can spend money on things the salary cap does not even touch. And that brings me to part 2, brother. Stay right there, because this is where it gets real. Here is the part that makes my head want to come off. The salary cap. God bless the salary cap. The greatest equalizer in American professional sports. It only caps one thing: player salaries. That is it. Coaching salaries, not capped. You want to pay your head coach $30 million a year? Go ahead. Nobody stops you. Support staff, not capped. Nutrition departments, analytics teams, sleep science consultants, sports psychologists, whatever else they are loading up on, not capped. The practice facility arms race, not capped. And here is the one that really gets me: signing bonuses. You have to have the cash on hand to pay those out up front, brothers. That is how the big market teams manipulate the cap year after year. They spread the pain into future years, restructure everything, kick the can down the road, and they can do it because a billionaire is backstopping the whole operation. We have a reserve fund, a very good one, built over decades of careful, responsible management, and it might not be enough going forward. Now, Policy is not sounding a 5-alarm fire right this second. He is being careful, measured about it. He said finance and economics do not play into football decisions right now, and it is his job to make sure they never do. I respect that. I genuinely respect that. But he is also telling us in plain English, we have to run faster just to stay in the same place. And the guys we are running against just bought better shoes. You know what else? We are about to be the only team in the league without stadium naming rights. Soldier Field in Chicago, and it physically pains me to say anything about Chicago that is not an insult. Soldier Field is going away as an NFL venue. And once that happens, Lambeau is the last one standing. The last great stadium in professional football without a corporate name slapped on it. Policy says they are not crossing that line anytime soon. Good. I am glad, because the day they call it some insurance company, Lambeau Field, I do not even want to finish that sentence. That name is sacred. That place is sacred ground. But here is the reality. They are going to get more aggressive with other naming opportunities. The training facility, the Titletown development next door. And look, if putting a sponsor name on the weight room or the practice bubble means we can keep up with the Joneses and the Cronkies, I can live with that. I absolutely can live with that. You do what you have to do. My daughter asked me last week why I care so much about Packers money stuff. She is 11 years old. She said, "Dad, you are not even on the team." And she is right. I have no personal stake in this whatsoever. I am a grown man in Peshtigo, losing sleep over nonprofit revenue strategy. My wife looked at me across the dinner table last night, and she had that look. You know the look that says, I married a very specific kind of crazy, and I have made my peace with it. She is not wrong. I am the knucklehead in the kitchen yelling about balance sheets before the sun comes up. But here is why it matters. This team does not belong to one billionaire who could sell it tomorrow and move it to Las Vegas. It belongs to the people. When you buy a share of the Green Bay Packers, you cannot sell it for a profit. There are no dividends. You cannot use it as collateral. You are just in. You belong to something bigger than yourself. And that means when Ed Policy says the financial landscape is threatening to leave us behind, that is not some rich guy's problem to hand off to an accountant. That is our problem. That is a threat to the only community-owned franchise in American professional sports. Are you hearing me? So yeah, I care about the revenue strategy. I care about ticket prices and Luke Combs concerts at Lambeau and whether they put a sponsor name on the Titletown Plaza, because without a strong financial foundation, you do not just lose competitive balance, you lose the whole thing. And once that is gone, you do not get it back. Policy said one thing in this interview I keep coming back to. He said, if we find ourselves falling behind, it is going to be really hard to catch up. That is the most honest sentence a Packers executive has said in years. Sit with that. Pack Nation, we are not going anywhere, but this is the moment to pay attention, support this franchise, and understand that the nonprofit model that makes the Packers special requires all of us to hold it up. Smash that subscribe button. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think about the financial future of this team. And if you see Ed Policy doing what needs to be done to keep the lights on in Green Bay, let the man cook. I am Big Sal from Peshtigo, Wisconsin, and I will see you in the next one.